My name is Sylvia Hall. I'm an attorney in Seattle, Washington. I'm on the path to early retirement. My goal is to be able to retire at the end of this year. We'll see what happens. I learned my money goals the hard way. I graduated from law school in May 2005. I had just over $100,000 in debt. I took the bar in Louisiana, and the week after I started my first job, Hurricane Katrina came. The job said, "We love you, you're more than welcome to come back, but the building's gonna be closed for the rest of the year." So I found myself with 6 figures in debt, no real job at the time, and the student loan grace period was just about over. I had no ability to pay rent, and the landlord basically said, "You need to get all of your stuff out." There was no such thing as renting a U-Haul. There was nowhere to donate everything, so I literally had to throw everything away. And I think that had a really profound effect on me, because when you're throwing away all these things that you've collected, you really realize, okay, I didn't need any of this stuff. So Hurricane Katrina was the real starting point of not accumulating so many things. I was beyond broke, and I just sort of had a moment where I just said, you know what, I don't ever want to be this broke again. I moved to Seattle in 2008. When I thought about where I wanted to move, I wanted to focus on a city that had a growing economy, a state where there was no state income tax, and then no hurricanes. Welcome to my humble abode. I got it in 2016 as a foreclosure. This place is 400 square feet, and nobody else wanted it, so I got really lucky. FIRE is a movement. It technically stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. I really think about it more the FI instead of the RE, so the financial independence. It didn't seem like it was a viable option, but I figured, you know what, I'm just gonna set up the plan, I'm going to automate it, and then just not think about it. I put myself on a very strict budget, and so what I did was allow myself $250 a month. That's the only amount that I kept. I basically was paid on the last day of the month, and on the first of the month, everything other than my $250 was diverted elsewhere. So every dollar had a home. The first real milestone that I got to was when I hit a net worth of 0. I have never been so excited to have 0 as a net worth. Gradually, I started getting raises, and I kept the same budget even after I got the raises. I kept my same car. My parents are always yelling at me about my car. I was able to keep going with that budget and actually save for an emergency fund. I eventually raised my discretionary spending to $300 a month. And then gradually, since I really started maxing out my 401k right after we came off the Great Recession, those accounts just took off on their own. Same with the Roth retirement account. And at that time, I had a taxable account for the surplus. It actually progressed to a point that I did eventually become financially independent. So the plan was to spend about $150, and the total bill came to $155. And except for the perishables, that should last me about 2 to 3 months. So got Costco out of the way. I wrote down all of my expenses, and I really wanted to figure out how to chop each expense by 20%. Most people really focus on housing, cars, and food for their main expenses, but for me, the number one expense was taxes. My first real estate purchase was an out-of-state purchase, and turned that into a rental. And that was the first time where I was like, wow, okay, I get a property and someone else is paying for it. Once I stop working, I plan to just live off of rental income, so I don't have to worry about, again, the Social Security taxes, etc. I can live virtually tax-free as long as I have that depreciation. So basically for the next 20 to 27 and a half years, I can earn income without paying taxes on it if I stop working. So I have been searching for my last property for a while now, and it has been such a roller coaster. The last rejection just came yesterday. I found on Redfin that another house that would be just as ideal came on the market, and so I reached out and left a message with the listing agent. So I've been on pins and needles ever since putting that offer in. A lot of people will hear my story and think, oh, she's an attorney, so that's different. Or I couldn't do that because I don't have a down payment. But the methods that I use can be duplicated by anybody. There are various credit unions across the country, and most credit unions have some sort of either no down payment option or low down payment option. Even if you don't have the money on your own, if you and a friend or you and a colleague are in the same boat, pool your resources together. If you are paying rent somewhere, there is a similar place that you can own and use this same strategy. If my plan goes well, I won't have to actually touch the invested accounts, and those will just continue to grow. And my plan is just to leave that to nieces and nephews, maybe my undergrad college. So I don't have any plans to use that money, but it's there as a fail-safe. The reason why is because I really feel like I have been the most fortunate person ever. I've got plenty if I can just live off the rental income, and that's enough for me. I've always had a pretty firm sense of enough. And so if I can make it so that the next generation of my family doesn't have to start from scratch, if I can leave that legacy to them, then that's more than worth it to me. That's certainly worth more than anything I can spend that money on.
So I got another offer in for all cash, pretty close to what you're doing, but I think he's leaning towards still taking yours, but I'll keep you in the loop for sure. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, yes, ma'am. Bye.
Oh.